around this time yesterday on this show, Adam Schefter broke the news that Lions quarterback Jared Goff has signed a 4-year, $212 million contract extension. Lions rewarding Goff for leading one of the most successful seasons in franchise history last year. And Goff has actually been one of the most productive quarterbacks in the entire league the last 2 years. He ranks top 4 in the NFL in passing yards, passing touchdowns, touchdown to interception ratio, and first down rate. So, Adam, obviously the Lions made total sense for them to lock up Goff. What more can you tell us about this deal?
Well, there's so much about this that's so interesting, Dan, because when the two teams, the Rams and the Lions, made the trade to send Matthew Stafford to Los Angeles and Jared Goff to Detroit, many thought of Jared Goff as the throw-in, and the Rams had to compensate the Lions for taking on Jared Goff and his contract. Well, lo and behold, a few years later, they redo the deal and make it one of the richest quarterbacks in NFL history. And it's a situation where Jared Goff has helped turn around that franchise. He's 22-8 as a starter. You saw some of his marks there that you put up. He's been one of the best quarterbacks in football. We've got the city of Detroit chanting Jared Goff over and over, hosting playoff games, winning playoff games, building up the supporting cast with the picks that they got in the Matthew Stafford trade that included Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, and Jamison Williams. And so Jared Goff has become something of a hero in this particular city for this team to go reward him and to reward him ahead of some of the other quarterback contract extensions that could get done this summer, like Trevor Lawrence, like Jordan Love, like Tua Tagovailoa, like Dak Prescott. There are other deals. The Lions got out in front of it. They get the deal done, and they essentially keep him in Detroit, where he's become something of a hero in that city.
Listen, I love it. I don't think that we can overstate how big of a deal this is. Adam just mentioned the guys that feels like we've been talking about, hey, when are these guys going to get their contract extensions? Well, how about the fact that it's Jared Goff, who's 29 years old. 29 years old. He's taken 2 different organizations to an NFC Championship game. One of those games he's won and taken a team to the Super Bowl. I just think that, like, when we look at this, I don't want to speak for everybody. I don't know that we're giving it enough attention in terms of how significant it is for the Detroit Lions. I mean, over the last 2 seasons, 9,000 yards and 59 touchdowns. He's been outstanding. And oh, by the way, he's about 7 years younger than Kirk Cousins. He's younger than Dak Prescott. He's basically the same age as Baker Mayfield. Like, this is a guy that's got 9 playoff games under his belt. I just think that, Jared Goff, who was a throw-in in that trade, it was to get out of the contract. He's played his way back in to the conversation to be one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. That is a big deal. It's not easily done, and he deserves a ton of credit, which obviously the contract is signifying for doing what he's done.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think the reason is this, that we talk about it being a throw-in, Jared Goff, him being in that trade, a throw-in. And a lot of people felt that way in the media. A lot of people on the outside felt that way. But one person that didn't feel that way was Brad Holmes, who's the GM right now of the Detroit Lions. Well, he was in L.A. with Jared Goff when they drafted him. He knew his talent, his value. Right? I'm a guy who's watching saying, man, okay, Jared Goff, Sean McVay's carrying him. That was my feeling, if I'm just being honest. And all of a sudden, he even changed not just my mind, but the minds of many. And so, yes, it's a redemption story, part 1, but I think the bigger story is this. Jared Goff has come in and not only changed that franchise, but he's helping be involved in the community. I mean, listen to what he does in the community, in the city of Detroit. I mean, people talk about Detroit basketball, the city of Detroit. All of Detroit is now falling in love with Jared Goff, and rightfully so for the kind of man he is.
And they've fallen in love with this team, and you look at what Brad Holmes has done this offseason and the rest of that Lions front office. They have identified 3 core players in Jared Goff, in Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Penei Sewell. And you look at the extensions that have been doled out this offseason. The Lions have written up $444 million worth of contracts to these 3 individual players who have become foundational pieces as this organization has turned around its fortunes and become one of the best franchises in football. $444 million in paper money is still a huge amount of money to dole out to those players, but it's a sign of how well they've played, how much the organization believes in them, and what the expectations for this team are moving forward.
No question about it. The Lions won 12 games last year. That is tied for the most they've ever won in a season in team history. They have never won double-digit games in back-to-back seasons, so we'll see if they can pull that off. Obviously, the Lions showing they believe in the guys who delivered for them last year.